Hey, welcome to the Overture Pamphlet. My name is Rob, and I am the host of this one-man show, coming to you every Monday at 6 a.m. UK time. And yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. Today we're going to have a bit of I would say maybe like a big discussion. Maybe I don't know. I mean, it's been a very big week for pop culture, I guess. Well, pop culture, but also politics and all of the above. And you may know what I'm talking about, of course, if you are in the loop, which I hope you are, because what the fuck. But yeah, so I'm going to be talking, of course, about the U.S. presidential elections of this year. Trump back in the White House, which is astonishing, but also quite scary for many reasons, which I will get into in a few moments, of course. But also want to talk about Grammy nominations because they all decided to, it always happens at the same time of the year. So they just dropped like an hour ago, I think, something like that. So I haven't actually looked at them. So I thought, what about a way of like doing an episode than to have also my reaction to the nominations and my possible predictions on who's going to win and all that stuff. So I think that's a good also balance to the very depressing topic, which is of course the US presidential elections, as I said. But yeah, but let me of course first get into the songs of the week, just to get a little bop in there. A little bop. So this week I've listened to not that much of a new pool of songs, but I've had a few. So first one is Dopamine by Bina and Subculture. This is I would say it's R&B but Afro beat inspired R&B song, which doesn't make any sense, but it kind of does, I guess. And it's quite the interesting track, I would say. I've never heard anything like this, specifically as that R&B, but it has that Afro beat influence in that sense. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it's very, very cool, very, very interesting track. The album itself, the EP, is also very, very interesting. So I would say if you like this type of song, like the vibe itself, check it out on the Overshare Pamphlet Songs of the Week November 2024 playlist. You can give it a go, and if you like the song, you can possibly also check out more from Bina. I really don't know much about the artist itself, but I just stumbled upon this song and I was like, ooh, very, very unique, very unusual. I would say quite special, it sets itself apart from, I guess, the rest of the R&B tracks that I normally listen to. So yeah, cool. Now, I also want to talk about Sao Paulo by The Weeknd and Anita. Now, contrary to the popular perception, I guess, of The Weeknd, I also support the let's just say the, I don't want to say the backlash, but I sort of can see where it's coming from. He after the Idol, I don't think I can look at him in the same light, but he's still very talented. I'd say as a musician, of course, and I think that's what he should have stuck with, just making music, songs, and all that stuff. But this song is very good, very, very good. Anita is not really singing; it's sort of, I don't want to say rapping, but sort of, I guess, just mumbling in throughout the track. And the beat of the song is the main purpose, I guess, of this track. Very danceable, very club anthemy in that sense. So yeah, like, girl, if you want to have a good time in Sao Paulo, this is the song to listen to. I don't fucking know, but yeah, no, I honestly feel very captivated also by the way like the production itself changes a lot. It could have been like a very simple, standard, soulless song, but it's really produced well, and like it changes and it builds up throughout the entire track, and it's just very very good. I knew something there was something special about the song when I first heard it. Um, in his live performance when he first debuted the song, but he never released it on streaming. But this is it. Very, very good. Now, I want to include this track called, what the fuck is that? My Idol by Jordana and Paul Cherry. This song is, if you listen to my episode about my favorite albums of the year, which include, of course, well, the first one was my favorite album is Charm by Clairo. I made a playlist based on the song Glory of the Snow, which is very like hippie, like I guess like 70s and like 60s and 70s type of track, and like sort of folky, I don't know, just like very, yeah, very like Beatles, I guess, hippie sort of track. This sort of builds off of the same vibe. It's in that playlist as well, and yeah, I just like love the track. So it's just quite the mood. Very chill, very carefree. Yeah, sort of like that vibe. If you know anything about that the Claire album, like Charm, that's the sort of vibe that it's bringing as well. Very very cool. Very, as I said, like very chill, very sort of feel good in a way. It is about, to be fair, the crush that this girl has on her idol, like on this person who becomes her idol. Hence the song being named My Idol. But very cute, very demure. I've had enough of demure. Please take it out of the vocabulary. Everyone is saying that. Enough. Yeah. There's a great track. Great track. So yeah, you can find all of these in the Songs of the Week playlist of the month. November 2024, of course. So check it out. Give it a go. Give it a spin. And yeah, period. Let's get into the real deal, which is, of course, I want to talk about firstly about the elections. I want to put a disclaimer here, I guess, just for clarity. I am not a U.S. citizen by any sorts, by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not American. I never lived in the U.S., even though I visited the U.S. one time my whole life. I studied there 3 weeks, I think it was in total, while I was in high school, but that's pretty much it in terms of actually experiencing American life and American culture itself. I mean, you could argue that you can experience American culture, I guess, through the dominance that the U.S. has in terms of music and TV shows and entertainment and all that stuff. So I guess in a way I am very much influenced, and I have a very, fiery passion when it comes to entertainment, and I consume a lot of that, specifically when it comes to music, of course, but also when it comes to TV shows, films, and all the above. But that does not stop me from not talking about the elections, because I think at the end of the day, it's a very important and a global event, I guess, that happened this week. And it is going to affect all countries in the world in one way or another, and most of all, of course, the other Western countries and all the countries that the US has a close tie to, including the UK, where I'm currently based at. So, and politics is just something like global politics is something real, of course. If you know anything about politics, is that we don't live on an island at all. Everything is sort of going in ebbs and flows, and it is a game of different powers, and the stage is, the global politics. So you need to be aware of all these things and how these things can influence wider discourses, I guess, and wider power strategies. And yeah, so on the one hand, I'm interested in the cultural aspect of it all. Like I know it's a big cultural event in that sense, like a big moment for the US itself, but also I am very wary of the fact that this can be very dangerous for the rest of the world. And yeah, I mean, if you know anything about the US, it is still, regardless of how the elections are going, still, and the economic situations and everything else, it is still one of the biggest powers in the international scene. So, I mean, the dollars, duh, need I say more? Like, that's the new standard. Like, that's the golden standard. It's the dollar standard, basically. The dollar is the most powerful currency in the world. So that alone should tell you how much you should take these things seriously. So, and the amount of businesses that are American owned and are spread out throughout the entire globe, that is also another sign of the chokehold. But yeah, so that, I hope this is like enough of a good disclaimer to let you know that I am interested in this topic and I have a reason and a voice behind this, and I sort of am allowed to speak. Of course, I'm not gonna be saying that, like, I'm not gonna be pretending that I know America more than Americans, of course, but I have also studied politics my whole life. I have a degree, actually 2 degrees in politics, so like, y'all get where this is coming from. I mean, that sounds like the interest and all that stuff. So yeah, let's first discuss what happened. Of course, as you may know, Trump has been re-elected as the president of the United States, and to some, myself included, this was, I would say that the win itself is not a shocker, but I think it mostly is the sweep that is a shocker. Like, even the Senate, full Republican sweep, and his margin of victory is like actually quite noticeable. He got 200, well, for the ones that have been counted, he got 292, I believe, electoral votes. So he dwarfed, in a way, Kamala Harris. So Donald Trump is sort of, a force at the end of the day to be reckoned with, and it is a scary moment for a lot of women and a lot of LGBTQ members, and a lot of course, minorities, and it's a scary time for a lot of people in the US right now, because there's a lot on the line. There's a lot on, liberal values that are being attacked and are being under, discussion at the moment, including, of course, about the autonomy and reproduction rights and all of the above. Like, anything that you could think of, to be fair, is now up for grabs, to be fair. Immigration and health and tourism and pretty much anything that you could think of, literally, is now going to be under the knife and under the chopping board, and possibly going against specifically, I would say, like, the lower classes and like the backbone of the US. But yeah, and also I would say, like, also the actual principles behind, US politics. So it's quite interesting to see how these things are going to change. And to my greatest disappointment, I would say, is probably the fact that, like, what really, I guess, shocked me the most is how little now the news and social media as well are sort of disproportionately portraying, like, the political climate in the wrong way. Like, I think the real problem that happened here was that news outlets and, any sort of, like, like mean of reporting in that sense is well, for the past few years has been extremely concerned with appeasing and like satisfying, I guess like the social media chatter in that sense, pandering towards social media and the clicks and all that stuff, right? Instead of actually doing what they're supposed to, which is like to actually report facts and events for how they should be. And why do I say this? Well, I don't know, if you have been on social media, you're no strangers, of course, to the amount of Republicans and the amount of like conservative people on those apps. But the problem, I would say, is that for first, these apps, these algorithms have evolved in such a way that they're, again, I think I've touched on this topic so many times also when it comes to like just generally music and any other sort of entertainment, but this is also very true for politics and information and news. But I would say like the algorithms are so now like so tailored to your own views and your own I guess preferences that you sort of live in an echo chamber no matter what. Like no matter what app you use and no matter what news outlets you look for, you're going to be catered towards very specific information that you will like. So you'll be living in this like huge bubble, as I said, that is going to simply feed into your delusions, which is very much what happened here. I personally think like after this like results, like after the results of the elections, I think I am quite shocked to have, I guess, discovered them. Actually, there's still a huge margin of Americans that are extremely Republican, and I'm not talking about simply white Americans and the typical Republicans and conservatives, but I think what really was missed throughout these years was an accurate reporting of how many people were switching to the Republican ideals and to the conservatism of it all. And the demographics of the turnouts are simply telling you the same, basically. Like they're showing you some very interesting and scary facts. Like I'm talking even about amongst minorities, and which usually have been supporting the Democratic Party for quite a long time. They've also been starting to switch towards the other side. And I blame, again, the way these social media platforms are built and the way news outlets are reporting news and all of that. It's just, again, as I said, feeding into your delusions and your bubble, and like it's not letting you actually see what's the truth and what's the cold fact about society at the moment. So this was a big reckoning, I would say, and a big eye opener for a lot of us, maybe I would say, because it's like turning on, like it's shedding some light on what the composition, I guess, of the electorate is at this point. So yeah, quite scary. So yeah, and another, I guess like well, it's still part of the same discourse in a way, but another point on that I would say is it also showed a lot how individualism has become an extreme way of living in the US. The US has always been very individualistic, of course. Like that is one of the core principles of like American liberalism and individualism. But I think at this point we're getting so far away from any sort of modicum of social care and like community in that sense that it's just getting everyone like separated and completely, I would say, like selfishly I don't know, viewing society in a way that is like just inimicably like I would say that basically like everyone is voting for their own gain and they're not really caring about any people that they know of, even, to be fair. Like their neighbors, they don't really care about them. No one cares about their community. No one cares about their local communities anymore. They're just voting for their own personal silly little pot of land, and that's it. And I think it's quite scary, again, as I said, because you cannot build a country over individuals who are not, or at least pretend to be like not connected at all. Like, we still live at the end of the day in a world, like in a country, like in a world that is like, you know, made up of social interactions and, you know, social groups, and it's important to foster that, but I don't think it's happening anymore. Like, I mean, it's quite you know, scary, and I don't know. I hope that things change over time, but I am concerned again that with this amount of, you know, catering again in the way people consume any sort of content and news and anything in general, that people are going to be more and more segregated into their own little bubbles and are going to become therefore more and more individualist in the way they approach life in general. So very scary. But let's get into the demographics. I think that's actually one of the most important parts of this topic. But what I really wanted to first look at, what I searched for, to be fair, what I was really interested in to see, like, how did this even happen, was the first thing that came to mind was how many young people went to vote this time around. And not to my surprise, I was expecting this, to be fair. Out of the, of course, out of the all the voters that went to vote for these elections, I think I saw I think it was the New York Times reported that 9% was of all the voters were aged between 18 and 24, and even less between 25 and 29. So I think it's 6% for 25 to 29, and 9% of the voters were 18 to 24. So yeah, and of course the majority lies within instead the older population. So 50 to 64 was 27% of the voters, and 65 or over was 28% of the voters. So you can sort of understand as well why it is not, well, you can see the untapped potential, I guess, that could have really, you know, tipped the balance for the good. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I said, I think many times as well before in other episodes, young people are not interested in voting. They're disillusioned with the system overall. Just think of, I don't know, Chapel Rowan, the way she approached the endorsement situation and all this stuff. Young people do not think that either of the parties are worthy of, you know, listening to them. I don't think they're actually, but I think on top of that is also a matter of not being interested in politics at all, or not being interested in the system that is governing them in a way. I still think, my personal view is that there is a possibility of change if you exploit the system in the right way. And I think by that I mean is, well, I understand their anger and understand everything else, but if you can actually create some change that is visibly favoring you in a way, you should go for it. I understand that none of the candidates may ever be perfect, or may ever be even remotely good, or they're not going to represent your needs and your desires at all. And this is about so many other things, like including Gaza, of course, and everything. But I still think that in front of the status quo, you need to work within the constraints that you're finding yourself in a way. So I personally would have still voted for the better candidate, even if I don't believe that none of them are ideal. I still think it's pretty clear to me that between a felon and a very qualified, at least, politician, regardless of her views, I would still consider voting a woman, of course, instead of a felon. Like, this is what it boils down to. I understand that the strategies used by the Democratic Party were not probably the best when they approached this election, and Trump is not stupid at all. He knows what he's doing, of course, and that's part of why, like, he also won. But I think that these demographics show you, first off, that, you know, who knows what would have happened if, you know, many more young people went to vote, and had a say in these things. I personally think it would have been a much different outcome. I'm not saying it would have been necessarily in favor of Kamala 100%, but I still think it would have given us a better picture even of what is going on. So, but yeah, but I also understand the frustration with the system itself, and I am sympathizing with so many people who don't think that they will ever be represented by these politicians. But again, be the change that you want to see. I think that wholeheartedly. So, yeah, maybe next in 40 years, maybe that's what parties should like start aiming at, because I think there is still quite a big untapped potential in these demographics. So yeah, that's one. The other thing that the thing instead that I found very shocking was the demographic by race, and the turnout for Trump spiked so much among Hispanic and Latino voters, like compared to 2020. There was an increase of 13% of Hispanic and Latino voters for Trump. So that is insane. Like 2024, the split was 45% voted for Trump and 53 voted for Harris. So that to me is insane. Like 2020 was 32% voted for Trump, 65 voted for Biden Harris. So clearly there's also a very interesting change in these demographics. At the end of the day, you know that Trump is xenophobic and has said so many terrible things, specifically about, Hispanic and Latino people as well. So this makes you wonder, basically, like, oh, how is that even possible? Well, I think the general consensus here is that working class is fed up with the demographic party. They feel abandoned. They don't feel listened to. And I don't, not to quote Sanders, but I think he actually made a very great point in his post after the elections. He said that the demographic party is accountable for losing the trust of the working class. Like, that's probably one of the main reasons why they couldn't even, hold the blue line, right? So, yeah, I think this is, like, definitely a sign of that. Like, that is insane to me. There was even a small spike in Asian voters, plus 4% basically in favor of the Republicans. And yeah, what really seems to be consistent, fortunately, is the black voters portion of this election. It's still pretty much the same as 2020. In 2020, 87% of black voters voted for Biden, and in 2024, 86% voted for Harris. So at least that was consistent. But it's always been consistent. Like, this has always been the case most of the times for the elections. Like, black voters always support Democratic parties, and that's at least a good sign that in that department they have still achieved that. But yeah, and to no surprise, of course, majority of white people voted for Trump. So again, not surprising. Another interesting one, I would say, is support for Trump increased across genders. So compared to 2020 to 2020, like to the 2020 elections, more women voted for Trump, and of course more men voted for Trump as well. So yeah, 44% of women voted for Trump, which is a 2% increase, and there was also a 1% increase in men voters. So yeah, and if you want to get also to the nitty-gritty, there was a specific increase in Hispanic and Latino men specifically voting for Trump this year, and I think also Hispanic and Latino women voted for Trump even more. So plus 7% for Trump. So yeah, not really encouraging. But that's how it is. Again, as I said, like it's a big reckoning moment because you can see that people are just not going to be caring as much about community anymore, and they are fed up with they'd rather listen to someone who talks a lot of nonsense and like feeds their fears and all of the above, rather than supporting a party that at least has some, I guess, some modicum of interest in their own welfare. But again, as Sanders said, I don't think they really communicated that very well, and they have clearly not strived to bring the point home. I think a great point that could have been used personally against the Republican Party was specifically the relationship that Trump has with Elon Musk, and how this endorsement of Elon Musk may be very detrimental to specifically lower class workers, because at the end of the day, automation, AI tools, and all the above are threatening to replace jobs that are mainly done by a lot of the middle. Well, there's no middle class anymore, but most workers are going to be replaced by automation, and by Trump endorsing Elon, who is literally the like main proponent for automation. I think that's quite concerning. And if I were the Democratic Party, I would have I don't know, driven the point home. I would have really emphasized how bad that is, and I would have tried my best to protect, make sure that these people are protected and feel protected under the a possible Harris presidency against automation. That would have been a great counter move to Trump and his close collaboration with Elon Musk. But I'm sure Elon Musk now is super happy that he won his bet and he got $20 billion more. He got $20 billion richer. So boohoo to that. Honestly, quite disappointing. What the hell, America? What the hell? But I guess on a positive note, let's try and spin this around. I guess it is what it is. You can still, of course, I guess. I mean, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be disappointed in all this. It's okay to feel scared, because it is a scary moment. But I would also suggest to not lash out and not judge people for who they voted. It is what it is. At the end of the day, you cannot do much about it. And I would encourage people not to feed into this separatism that has just been destroying the country, the US specifically, but I think also in general everywhere else in the world. It's been just a horrible trend of these latest years. So I would encourage people to just be more more open. First, of course, metabolize this whole thing, but also take some time, but also try not to be too confrontational and don't do not hold a grudge. It happened, whatever it is. At the end of the day, a choice that the country made, and I hope at least this is a lesson learned for the next elections. That's all I hope for. But yeah. Let's get to something a bit more fun, hopefully not as depressing. Let's get to the Grammy nominations 2025. So yeah, as I said, I haven't read any of these. I just took a peek at Record of the Year because it is the first category that is shown on the Recording Academy's website. But let's get into it. This is gonna be my reaction to that because I haven't seen it, but also my predictions, I guess, on who I want to win and who I think is going to win. Ooh, fireworks. But anyways, Record of the Year is an award to the artists and album producers and recording engineers and or mixers and mastering engineers. So it is an award for the song overall, I would say, like the product itself, like the actual song. It's not about songwriting specifically, but it's more about like the production and the moment the song itself brought to the table. So here are the nominees: Now and Then by the Beatles. What the fuck? I saw that and was like shocked. That's the only thing I saw. Then Texas Hold'em, okay, period. Beyonce, thank you, Beyonce. Espresso, yes. Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, yes. 360 by Charlie, okay, Charlie. Charlie, this is huge for Charlie, actually. This is insane. Record of the year, what? Birds of a Feather, of course. Billy, I was expecting that. Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, okay. Okay. Kendrick being nominated this year is just like such a big fu to you know who, to you know who. Good Luck Babe. Oh, Chapel with Good Luck Babe is in record of the year. Okay, that's incredible. That's major. Like these are all like she's a new artist and she's already nominated for record. That is insane. We have the Trinity. We have Charlie. We have Sabrina. We have Chapel. The world has been just right now has been healed. Now we have Fortnite, period, and it's of course Taylor Swift. Not my favorite song off of Torture Poets, but I mean she did the numbers. She did the numbers for sure. So respect my girl, please. Interesting mix. Very female centric. I love that. Oh, this is so good. It's so hard to choose. I personally think that I would say, personally, Espresso should be the winner. I would love for Espresso to win. Because I still think that it was the record of the year. It was the song that at least everyone had listened to. So, and it was a moment for the entire summer, and it's still doing incredible numbers, and it's one of the most organic and the most stable hits in the charts. So I love Espresso. It's just such a fun song, such a good moment for the girls. So I would personally love to see Espresso win. Do I think she's gonna win? She could have a chance, but I think Birds of a Feather also may have a strong chance. Billie Eilish is a Grammy darling in that sense, so it could happen, 100%. Good Luck Babe, I think. I mean, I would love for that to win, but I don't know if Chapel is. I don't know. I see Chapel is a bit of a wild card here because I don't know if she is beloved by the Grammys or not. What's their opinion on her? So I guess we'll find out with these editions of the Grammys, but it's already an incredible achievement for her as a new artist, as a fresh new artist, to be in the record of the year category. Like this is one of the biggest categories. Like it's among the 3 biggest categories of the Grammys. So kudos to Chapel. Congratulations, girl. I don't think Fortnite is gonna win. I think if anything, Fortnite is gonna win for either pop duo or whatever, or well, no, probably just that. I don't think Fortnite is gonna win, even though Taylor is also a Grammy darling. I don't think the competition this year is quite strong. So yeah, ooh, it is getting good. Album of the year. Okay, so we have New Blue Sun by Andre 3000. I don't know about that. I don't know anything about that. So I don't know. I need to check it out. Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. Okay, Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. Shut the fuck up. Brat is nominated for Album of the Year. Okay. Jesse, Volume 4 by Jacob Collier. Okay, period. In the Art and Stuff, of course. Chapel Rowan, The Rise of... Chapel Rowan. Oh my god. What is going on? Like, this is so big. And the Torture Poets Department, of course. Let's see. Okay, this is so difficult. I would say, okay, my choice for who should win the Album of the Year, it would be, oh fuck, I don't know, either Chapel Rowan or the Torture Poets department. And before I got attacked on the internet, I love the Torture Poets department. It was a late bloomer for me, but I have discovered so many songs by the, like, you know, among the 30 and more tracks. I've just discovered so many moments on this album that I think is just a very interesting project, and I think it is, in my opinion, a different thing for Taylor. Like, it was such a interesting, like, I would say lyrically, in that sense, like, and writing wise, such a different experience. It's probably one of the most wordy albums that she's ever done, and it's such a, it's not simply confessional, I would say. It's more like basically just laying it all out and having no filter, and sometimes even portraying yourself in a very unflattering light, which is a very unusual thing for a pop star to do. Like, she's had, of course, her moments for that, like meta songs and all that stuff, but this was probably the biggest change in her in their discography with this album. I think this brought, and you see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Like, when you look at these albums, you should. I personally think you should look at them as, how did they, you know, change the trajectory of the artist? How do they show any evolution in the artist's legacy? And I think it does. I personally think the Torture Poets department does. You may disagree, of course, but I mean, this is just my opinion. So yeah, Chapel Run, I would love that to win, but I think it's also a debut album, and I wouldn't. I mean, as a project itself is like so good and so cohesive. It's such a good pop perfection album. But I would understand why it wouldn't win, and I also would understand why the Torture Poets department wouldn't win, because I think it's not like Torture Poets on the other hand is like very non-cohesive at all. So, and I think the Grammys usually don't like that. So I don't think the Torture Poets will win. I don't think Chapel maybe will win. I do think, like, objectively, Brat should win. Personally, I could see Brat winning, because Brat itself was an entire moment. It is showing such a big pivoting moment for Charlie. It was such a huge breakthrough for her, and I would be very pleased to see her win with that. I could also see Hit Me Hard and Stuff winning, but again, I don't see any evolution in that for Billie. Personally, it was not my favorite album by Billie Eilish. I think it's actually very much the same old for Billie in terms of production and everything else, but it may win. As I said, like, Billie is a Grammy darling. But the album, though, I'm not sure. I would say Brad has a good chance. I would say maybe even Cowboy Carter has a great chance of winning, because it is a big moment for Beyonce as well. It is a very transformative album for her as well. But yeah, Short and Sweet, I think it's a very good album personally, but I don't think it's how to say, like, strong enough to contend against the other people as a project overall. Even though it is also a big breakthrough for Sabrina Carpenter, I still don't think. I mean, they're all so good. I cannot, like, they're all very good nominations, I would say. So at this point, anyone could take it home, but I would be very pleased if Brad took it, just because of the moment the entire album itself and the brand of the album itself had on the culture. While Short and Sweet, I guess, it wasn't really. I mean, it was mostly the singles that were a moment, but the album itself wasn't a moment in itself, I would say. But yeah, so Brat, I would put my money on Brat, even though I would want to be fair, all of them to go out with a win. But yeah, let's get to Song of the Year. Oof. Now this is more about the songwriting, so here we have to shift gears. You know what I mean? This is a bit different. We have a bar song, Tipsy, by Sean Cook and Gerald Jones and more. Shabuzi. Then Birds of a Feather, okay, Billie Eilish. Die With a Smile, oh, Lady Gaga. That is a surprise to me. Fortnite, Jack Hansen of course, produced it and all that. So Taylor Swift and Post Malone. Good Luck Babe, Chapel Run, period. Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, period. Please by Sabrina Carpenter is here. And Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, period. Hmm. Now, who would I want to win? I would say I would want Please 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 to win. If you listen to my episode on that, I did say that I want Please 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 to be the song of the year in my opinion. And I still see I could see it winning to be fair because the the songwriting on this was just so strong. I would say like the flirtiness and the humor behind it was just incredible. So yeah, that would be a great contender. Let's see. Um, I don't know. I feel like mm, interesting. Birds of a Feather. I think it would win. I think if anything, Birds of a Feather is gonna win Record of the Year. I don't think Song of the Year in that sense would be Birds of a Feather, um, because I don't know. I feel like the content of the song itself is just good, but it's not outstanding. Like Please Please Please, in my opinion. Like Please 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 is like comical, but also sharp and captivating. It's just like so different and so good. Um, Good Luck Baby is also very good. To be fair, it's a good song, like written song. It's like such an interesting song, writing wise. Fortnite, I don't think it deserves to win. There's so much better in the Torture Boys department that could have been chosen for that. But I understand it's the biggest song out of that. Um, I would say Please 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 has a great chance of winning. To be quite frank, it could also be Kendrick Lamar. It may be, but I think Please 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 has a great chance of winning, and I think I would want that to win as well. So, period. Okay, now we get to Best New Artist. This is interesting. I am ready for this. So this is about specifically artists who achieved a breakthrough. It's not simply like it's not about actual new artists that came on the scene this year, but it's more about artists that became famous this year. So we have Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, period. Doechii, oh yeah. Crankbin, I don't know what that is. Ray, of course, okay, period. Chapel Roan, okay. Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims, okay. I could see, to be fair, this going to any of these country artists, male country artists, like Teddy Swims and such. I could see that because they did, I don't know, they have a big breakthrough. I wouldn't be discounting that. But if I were to go with my own gut, it would go to Chapel Rowan. Like I would want Chapel to be the one winning, even though Sabrina also deserves it. This was her breakthrough as well, to be fair. But I think Chapel is, in every sense of the world, a break of the word, like a full breakthrough. Like she is a new artist. Like she came on the scene like properly this year. Like in terms of, that's the only project she has. That's it. Like that's a proper breakthrough artist. So I would want her to win, but also would be happy with Sabrina winning. Doechii, I ride for you, girl. I don't know. The competition is very strong, so. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Teddy Swims or like Benson Boone or whatever, any of these artists win. But I would want Chapel. I think Chapel would be good. I think there's so much. I think the Grammys can be they can be generous and like spread it around because there are so many deserving moments here. But yeah. Producer of the year, I'm interested in that. Alicia who produced Bugs, Don't Matter, Honey, Is It Worth It, Spend the Night, and all of that. Then we have Derns DeMille, Emile II, sorry, what the fuck. He produced Die With a Smile, Bar Song. He produced one of them ones, I Love You by Usher as well. Period, okay. I suspect Jack Antonoff and Dan Nigro are gonna be also nominated. Ian Fichuk for Beyonce. Okay. Mustard for Kendrick Lamar and Travis Scott. Dan Nigro is here, okay. Period. Oh, Jack Antonoff is not nominated. Interesting. Even though he has production credits on both Short and Sweet and The Torture Boys. Okay. I would say maybe Dan Nigro could win this time around. Like he deserves it because he produced for Chapel, Olivia, and for example, if you love Can't Catch Me Now, he produced that for Olivia. He produced The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, so he produced the entire album by Chapel. I mean, he produced a lot of stuff that I think are worthy. I would want him to win personally. Ooh, songwriter of the year, non-classical. Do we care about that? Not really. Oh, Ray is there. Ray, you better win it. Best pop solo performance, new vocal or instrumental pop recordings. Okay, so performance. Bodyguard by Beyonce, period. That's my favorite song. Espresso, okay. Apple, Charlie XCX, period. Birds of a Feather, Good Luck Babe. Good Luck Babe, 100%. If we're talking about pop solo performance, vocals and everything, Good Luck Babe, 100%. 100%. I'm so sorry, but there's no competition. No competition. Okay, this is interesting. Best pop duo or group performance. We have... What? Okay. Us, Gracie Abrams, and Taylor Swift. Not gonna win. Levi Jeans, Beyonce with Post Malone. Okay, interesting. Guess... Oh, things are changing here. The Boy's Mine. This I don't understand. The Boy's Mine is Ariana Grande. What the fuck? Where is Eternal Sunshine? It's not in any of these. What? What? I just realized that Ariana Grande was not nominated for any of these, and that was one of my favorite albums of the year. So disappointed. But also, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it's a remix, and they don't really like do much. The song wasn't really a moment at all. So, nah. And then it's Die With A Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. I think it's between Die With A Smile or Guess. No. Ugh. I think Die With A Smile is gonna win. I think that's what my God is telling me. I think it's like more in the realm of possibility, I would say. So I think that's gonna win. Pop vocal album, short and sweet. Hit Me Hard and Soft. Eternal Sunshine. There it is. Please. Chapel Rowan and the Torture Boys Apartment. Okay. I would want this, like, yeah. This has to go to Ariana Grande. I don't fucking care. Like, bitch. Like, you need to give it to her. I am gonna riot if this doesn't happen. Like, this. She deserves at least one Grammy. Please. Please. Dance and electronic. Do I really care about that? Not really. But Kate Renata is there with you with Charlie Gambino. Yeah. Kate Renata, please win, please. Best dance pop recording, Make You Mine, Madison Beer, Madison Beer? Von Dutch, Charlie XCX. L'amour de ma vie, Billie Eilish, whatever. Yes, and Got Me Started by Troye Sivan. Okay. There's the girls and the gays are in this one. Dance pop. L'amour de ma vie, no. Girl, no. Von Dutch, well, yeah, could be. I will give it to Yes and though. That was a house pop perfection in my opinion. So, and Max Martin produced it. So, yeah, I would go either Yes and or Von Dutch. Those are my best dance and electronic album. Brat, period. We have Timeless by Kate Renata. Oh, that's good. Harper Drama 3 and Tell Us. I selfishly would want this. If it doesn't go to Brad, I would want this to go to Timeless. Personally, I would want that, but I think it's gonna go to Brad. So, yeah. Best remixed recording. I don't care about that. Rock performance. Don't really care about that. Rock, I want to see just if there is anything in R&B that what is it here? R&B and rap and spoken word. Okay. Best R&B performance. Guidance by Janae Aiko, period. Chris Brown, Residuals. Okay, whatever. Coco Jones. Oh, here we go. Yes. SZA, Saturn. Oh, this is gonna be difficult. I would want Janae Aiko to win sometimes. Sometimes my girl needs to win. I kind of would want Coco Jones to be fair. Like, that would be a big moment for her. But I could see Saturn winning, to be fair. I could see that being actually in the end picked for this one. So, yeah. Best R&B song. We have Saturn again. Ruined Me by Mooney Long. Coco Jones, here we go. Oh, my girl Coco Jones is getting in the R&B categories. I'm so proud of her. again, I think it's gonna be either Here We Go or Saturn. Albums. Kalani's here, Crash. Okay. Childish Gambino, No Worries, and Every Sunshine, and Duran Bernard. Duran Bernard is like here and route. Shut the fuck up. Selfishly, I would want and route to win, but also I think Kalani with Crash could also be that girl. And then we have Best R&B Album. Chris Brown, 1111, Shut the fuck up. No. Money Long, Revenge, Lucky Day, Algorithm, Usher Coming Home. And you know what? I don't think I don't want to express anything, any opinions on that. I don't want to talk about any of this. Rap is good as well. I think. I mean, don't really care about that much. But okay, well, best believe I will be covering. I will be covering this when they get announced in 2025. Is it? Yeah, it is when they get announced. But yeah, Grammy night is going to be covered 100%. Don't worry. So I am excited. This was so much fun. I love the Grammy nights. Are my favorite thing to do. It's just so much fun. That and the Oscars. So, but yeah, gotta cut it close because this is like 56 minutes already. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and please go on with a smile. Be happy. Try to be happy as much as you can, and slay the house down, boots. You are loved, and bye. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your November, slayful November.